Hello, babes. Welcome back to another episode of the Wander Wealthy podcast. My name is Tess Wicks. I am the host, and this is day number 7 of the 12 Days of Money Mindset series. I'm so excited to dig into today's topic because we're just over the hump of really starting to getting to know our money mindset, discovering some of our judgments around money, where we might be coming from scarcity. And now I'm going to present an idea that I think is really going to maybe throw you for a loop a little bit. And that is that we all have this attachment around safety and security. And what I really want to help you discover in this episode is identifying if your attachment to safety and security might be coming from scarcity. So I think it was day 3, we really dove into scarcity a little more. And one big thing stood out when I was even researching for this episode, and I've been doing a lot of research around the topic of scarcity. And it is that the idea that scarcity is really kind of giving someone else or something else the power of taking care of you. A lot of us live in scarcity because we believe that it is money's job, and especially if we're talking about money mindset, it is money's job to keep us safe, to take care of us. It is either our husband or our parents or our wife, your partner in general, or your job's job to keep you safe, and especially to keep you financially safe. And the big question or headspin that I a lot of times present to even some of my clients, and I do work with those who are in a W-2 traditionally employed situation, as well as self-employed, and those who are kind of in the middle. They have a side hustle, but they're also still in their W-2 job, and they might be wanting to transition out of that. And that is this idea, and we have this belief, and this really strong belief that is definitely a program that has been running in our subconscious minds and the minds of others who kind of spread that to us. This program around the idea that a job is going to be your security blanket. It is that financial thing that is there to keep you safe. And a lot of times what I present to my clients is this idea that it has nothing to do with your job. You could have the highest paying job in the world, but it is you who keeps yourself safe. And in order to explore the antithesis of scarcity, you want to start exploring your own human superpowers. As humans, we have amazing superpowers, and the number one of those is that we are so incredibly adaptable to our surroundings and to our situations. And so what I want to cultivate in every single one of my clients is their own internal self-belief that they are able to keep themselves safe and secure. I mean, that's your subconscious mind's entire prime directive, right? But you, on a conscious level, I want you to truly believe that you are capable of creating money through creating value. And that is it. That is kind of the baseline. Money is really just the reward. It's just a value exchange for the value that you put out. It's an energy exchange for the energy you put out. And there's so much more of it out there that you can go and get, as long as you figure out what sort of value you can bring to the table. And whether you're going into a negotiation for a job, or you're going into, a mid-year review, or you're selling your own services or your own products, really thinking about the value there. And that's how you create money. And you have all the control to be able to do that. So I really want to start helping you break apart this idea that something else has that power that is there to keep you safe and secure. Because at the end of the day, and we all know this as like a hard truth, it's just really hard for us to admit, if we have a job or if we have a client, even in our own business, those things that are paying us, they're not really the things that are creating the money. They just happen to be, the middlemen right now, that job or that client. But they could also drop us at any moment. And I don't want to be a doomsdayer, but we have to come to that realization and go, oh, it's not them. Even if, and this is incredibly hard to bring up, but even in your family unit, even looking towards your partner as financial stability, especially if you're not having those conversations that are really getting to the root of all of your financial matters, it could just fall out of the sky and it could be gone. And so we really need to take control back from scarcity and the scarcity attachment of believing that our security, our safety, everything is outside of ourselves, and take control back and know that we create our own safety and security. And we can create that in the form of money. We can create that in the form of all the other ways and resources that we really feel safe and secure. And I love this quote, and this is kind of, taking it to the next level of really talking about money and dissecting money as this form of security and safety. And it's more about, we end up holding on. As an act of scarcity, we hold on to things because we believe that there's not more where that came from. I've done a podcast before and I've talked a lot about, is saving an act of scarcity or is it an act of abundance? And I've really settled on it's about the meaning that you put behind it. You can save out of pure scarcity, but you can also save out of pure abundance, knowing there's more where that came from. I can save some and I can spend some, and I can do whatever else I want to do with my money because there's more where that came from. But both saving and spending can both be acts of scarcity and acts of abundance. It's all about the meaning you put behind it. But going down this kind of, path of exploring this topic of scarcity and money, this quote came to me a couple of months ago. And I got this from James Wedmore, by the way. I heard him on a podcast. I don't remember which one, but he talked about this. And he has an amazing podcast too. I'll link to it. And it was the idea of being able to expect and treat money the way that you expect and you treat air. If money is out there, ever circulating, and you just have to turn on the trigger because you are responsible and you are also in control of being able to create your own safety and security. And if you want that to come in the form of money, you can turn that on, identify that value, and then it's a simple energy and value exchange. So it's all circulating out there. What if you could treat it like you treat air? When you breathe in your air, you don't hold on to it like it's never going to come back. You always know and you expect there to be more air for you to breathe, unless you're in dire circumstances. And what if we could have that same, very similar approach to how we treat our money? And it's hard. It's hard, especially when you are really digging yourself out of lots of scarcity mindset thinking. But even just playing with the idea of that can be really fun and really uplifting. What if I could treat my money the way I could treat air? What if you could treat other resources the way that you treat air? And so here's your challenge for the day. Your challenge is to identify something small. I'm not asking you to do something huge, but identify something small that you have been holding on to because it's coming from pure scarcity of thinking, I'm going to need this someday, and so I can't get rid of it. Or if it's in the case of money, I'm going to need this someday, I can't spend it. And what if you just let that go? What if you just bought that thing, or you just let go of that, random kitchen utensil that you've been holding on to because someday you're going to need to hull a strawberry? What if you just let that go and believed that it will come back to you, or you'll be able to utilize your own control to create the value, to create the wealth, to then be able to go and purchase it again when you need it. And therefore, you're not letting all this scarcity pile up in your life, in all these little mini forms of things that we hold and hoard and think that we absolutely need. So especially if you are someone who tends to hoard money and you're kind of that oversaver, this is something that I think is going to be really shifting for you. I did this in the form of my YouTube channel. Now I'm back, but with a completely different mindset. Before, I kept creating because I just thought it was something I had to do, and I did it out of scarcity. And my coach at the time challenged me to just let it go. And I did. And it came back in a way that I never thought it would. And I'm so happy I'm here now. Whether that's going to be in the form of money or something in your possession that you've been holding on to in your home, or in the form of the type of work that you're doing, maybe a type of client you're holding on to out of scarcity that you don't think there's going to be more where that came from in way better shapes and forms. And they're going to come exactly at the right time when you need it. Whatever form it is, think about something. And if you have to start small, but think, what am I just keeping that feels icky, that I'm doing it because I'm afraid? And I'm giving it the power of providing me with my security and my safety. and see if you can't let it go and trust that it's going to come back. That's your challenge for the day. Remember, you can get your checklist for free, downloadable checklist to do all of the challenges that I'm giving you over the course of these 12 days by signing up for our free webinar that we're going to be hosting the first official full week of January. It's the 7th and the 8th. There's 3 different times. Pick your time slot, sign up for the webinar. I will email you immediately your checklist, and we're going to continue on over the next 5 days having so much fun in the 12 Days of Money Mindset series. So thank you so much for joining me again today. And until tomorrow, I hope you wander wealthy.